Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Well, all kinds of craziness is happening. I mean, Megyn Kelly is out there backing Trump, which is unheard of because, you know, not only does she have that history with him, she's got a history with men in general, right? I mean, she brought down all those men at Fox News. So, you know, when she went after Trump in that first debate, she was on the role of that. She was like part of the Me Too movement. She was one of the leaders, really. Without her, Roger Ailes would not have been removed from Fox. O'Reilly would not have been. So, you know, so she was peaking at that time. But she said some really good things about President Trump today involving E. Jean Carroll, which I'm going to play this clip of Megyn Kelly. E. Jean Carroll has been doing these victory lap interviews all over the place. And E. Jean Carroll, I hope she does 20,000 interviews.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would imagine her interviews are going to make her look more like the kook she is.
She is completely a complete lunatic. And that I don't think that's an exaggeration. That might be an understatement. And the more interviews she does, the more kooky she sounds.
Yeah, the more obvious it is.
And what happens with people that tell lies, when they start doing a lot of interviews, they run out of things to say, so they start adding things in.
Plus, they forget the lies they've told, so they start contradicting themselves.
That's right. But Megyn Kelly was talking about E. Jean, and let me play this, and Trump, and she's spot on, right on the money here, and it's nice to hear one of the leading Trump haters, even on Trump's side. She makes some good points.
Jury found it 51% more likely than not that he did it. Based on that 51%, they've declared him a sexual pervert, basically. And they want us all to go along with it. They want us all to say it's horrible how Trump keeps dismissing this woman, as opposed to, let's just entertain for a minute the possibility that Trump is the truth teller here. That Trump actually has no memory of this person and certainly didn't sexually assault her. And that she really is some sort of a kook who decided to make up a story about him to get her name in the headlines, to potentially get money from a deep-pocketed guy. The media has zero appetite for entertaining that possibility. And therefore, they take umbrage at she's a whack job. What's he supposed to say if somebody came out against you, Glenn, from when, 20 years ago when you were 20, right? You'd be like, this person's a nutcase. I don't know them. And so that's really what Trump has been saying. And for that, now he's going to have to pay almost $100 million, maybe.
I don't think he's going to. I think he'll end up paying her nothing. Now, this is
in fact, she might end up paying him money.
Yeah, really.
I mean, isn't that what happened with Stormy Daniels?
That is exactly what happened.
And so that could be a reversal of fortune for him.
Now, this thing about the media, because I think people have gotten so used to this poisonous fake news media crew that we have in this country now and that we've had for so many years. But it wasn't always this way. I remember once Steve Kane was involved in a controversy that I don't want to get sidetracked on 20-something years ago. And he was on a lot of interviews on national television. It started on local news, then it was on national television. He was on CNN, a bunch of stuff. And during one of the interviews, this wasn't on the air, the reporter was asking him questions. It was a Q&A, and he asked the reporter, well, what's your opinion? And I remember this. This was not on camera, okay? Steve said to the reporter, what's your opinion? And the guy said, I'm a reporter. I don't have an opinion.
Right.
And it really used to be that way. And now what's happened is all the news people, and no matter what network they're on, no matter what chair they're sitting in, whether it's the evening news at 6:30 or the cable news, they're all activists. They're not journalists anymore. They're not reporters.
No, there's no more journalism.
They're activists.
Well, they're all. They feel that they are allowed to give their opinion. I mean,
that's all they give.
That's all they give. If you watch CNN, Jake Tapper is one of the worst when it comes to this. He is so unhinged. Now, I've only watched him during the election coverage. He is so unhinged over Trump. He is seething with anger. You could see it. I mean, he's doing everything in his power to control himself, but he is constantly making negative comments and remarks, very snarky. It's very unprofessional. And he's just getting his little digs in over and over, and it makes him feel good. But she's right. I like Megyn Kelly because she's got that perspective of a news person, and she knows how she was at the top of the food chain, and she knows how these people think and how it works. And she's right. They don't even entertain the possibility that he's being railroaded.
That's right.
Because, and believe me, they all know he is, but they see him as so dangerous, which he's not at all. But for some reason, he's triggered them so much.
I want to disagree with you a little bit.
They don't even care.
Kathy, the media hate Trump so much. They want to believe he's such a bad person. They've convinced themselves that it's true. And even though it's not. Right. And, this thing about
lying to themselves.
We don't have reporters or journalists anymore. We have activists. We talk about the news, okay? And we have strong opinions on the news. The news, one of the ends in CNN is news. Fox, the second word is Fox News Channel, right? MSNBC, there's no N for news there, so I guess they got an excuse, right? But the thing with these people in the news, they take a story, they say, okay, E. Jean Carroll, and then let's talk about it all day, and all they do is give you the opinions. I did a YouTube stream over the weekend, and I went over this article from Breitbart, 15 things you did not know about the E. Jean Carroll case, right? And you guys should go and watch that live stream. It was one of my weekend live streams on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And it was a very good article. And I went through the 15 points and we talked about all of them. And for example, one of them was the outfit that she said that she wore when this happened had not been designed by the designer yet.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was like Hillary Clinton said she was named after Sir Edmund Hillary, who was the first man to climb to the top of Mount Everest, and she was born and named like a couple of years before he did it.
Right.
It was that kind of – if the news were not Trump derangement syndrome suffering activist, they would follow leads like that, okay, with the dress
no, they don't do that
not being designed yet.
They don't do that.
And they just don't do that. And what Megyn Kelly's talking about there is – they just want everybody to accept this, and this is the way it is, and Trump is this, he's that, and they don't want to hear anything that questions it.
The thing is, though, the American people are not accepting it. The American people are finally, we've always seen through it, but the other people, there's a lot of other people that believe these lies, and they're starting to wake up, and they're starting to realize that the media has been lying to them. And when that realization hits somebody, okay, when that realization hits somebody and they wake up and they've been, I don't even want to call it red pilled, but they wake up and they realize, wow, they've been lying to me. Then they look at the news with a totally different perspective and lens. And then they start to question everything the news tells them, which they weren't doing before.
That's right.
But now they are. And that's good, because they're not just allowing themselves to be spoon-fed lies. And I think the Russia thing was a huge part of that. And now that Trump's been in politics so long, hindsight is 20/20, and people look back, they've gained perspective, and they're like, and Biden is so awful. Even Joy Reid, you were playing on your show this morning, said on a hot mic that he was starting another effing war.
Yeah.
Another war.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's how she really feels. But she's not going to say that on camera.
She's going to back the war on camera.
She's not going to say that on camera. That shows you what a fraud she is. But she wants to keep her job. She wants to keep making millions. So she's going to say what they want her to say. That's the way it works. You have to stop. You have to understand these people have an agenda.
That's right.
They're not out to give you the news. They're out to brainwash
Now,
you.
this thing with E. Jean Carroll, okay, she's doing the top tier liberal jerks first, right? Last night she was on Rachel Maddow. Yesterday during the day she was on CNN. This first week or so, she'll do all the top tier liberal interviewers. But when we get a month out or 2 months out, she's going to start doing interviews with lesser people, right? Not the top level line propagandist. She'll start doing interviews with people that aren't as skilled with spewing their lies. And she's going to start doing interviews with lesser known people. And that's when she's going to, because she's not going to stop doing interviews. She's crazy. Okay. She's totally insane. She loves the attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. She's Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard, She loves it. So when she starts,
she's ready for her close-up, Mr.
That's right.
DeMille.
When she stops doing the interviews with these top-tier line propagandists like Rachel Maddow, who are protecting her, and she starts doing the third and fourth level people, that's when she's going to start saying things without that protection, and she's going to discredit herself. Okay, and her lawyers are with her on these couple of interviews, but they're not going to be with her on the interviews in 2 months. She's going to start to discredit herself.
Yeah. I think she already has.
Well, she'll say something, okay, and a controversy will start. And people say, what? What did she say? She never said that before.
I think what'll happen is, because like you and I have talked about, when somebody keeps doing interviews and keeps talking, you know, eventually they end up, when they're liars, like you said, they end up tripping themselves up. I'm predicting that on one interview, she'll admit that she made it all up inadvertently without even realizing it.
It would not surprise me.
You know what I mean? I could see her inadvertently admitting that it was all a fraud.
I would not be surprised. So,
and then be like, oops, but I could see that happening.
So I don't watch these E. Jean Carroll interviews. I mean, I have played a couple of clips that I've heard about, you know. But I'm telling you, you watch, at some point in the future, she's going to go on and all of a sudden, she's going to say or do something. It might be coming up with things that she's not said in her stuff before. People say, well, wait a minute, why didn't she ever say this? That's different. She will end up discrediting herself even among the liberals. Okay.
Now, here's something I'm surprised about. It says here the Illinois State Board of Elections has unanimously ruled 8-0 to keep Trump on the ballot. I am really surprised that this has fallen apart for the liberals, because we talked about this a lot. You talked about this a lot, how they were going to keep Trump off the ballot.
I didn't say they were going to keep him off. They were going to try to.
And I am shocked that they have been unsuccessful. Why do you think they're not doing? I think because he's so popular, they don't want to incur the wrath of the voters and the American people. I think he's so popular that they're like, we can't do this. The guy's going to win the nomination. That's like un-American. I mean, that's like election tampering. I think they're realizing that would be a huge mistake. Well, because legally they'd run into a lot of problems.
They have no insurrection convictions against him. He was cleared by the committee, the Liz Cheney's kangaroo committee, and all this stuff. They got and every one of these ballot challenging cases is prevailed. Now, I wanted to play this. Nikki Haley. She's part of this World War III infomercial that the media are promoting. And Nikki Haley went on with Brian Kilmeade today on Fox.
You're saying now's the time to hit Iran?
Now's the time to hit their leaders. It's different. Don't go and bomb the country.
What about their infrastructure?
The infrastructure in Iraq and Syria. You start with that first. You do the sanctions, and you take out a couple of their leaders. That's the way you start.
In their country?
If they're in their country, or you do like Soleimani when they left the country. You figure out where they are. Our special operations can do that. And then you take them out. That will send a message. We've got to do this immediately.
Okay. A couple things about Nikki Haley here and this stupidity. Now, one thing I want to talk about with Nikki Haley here, okay? She's obviously, a spokesperson for the military-industrial complex.
Obviously.
We all know that, and that's a problem, because that's where this is all coming from, because that's where she'll make her money. But the other thing is this: one of the problems that Nikki Haley has is that she's an insecure person. She's got that imposter syndrome. She's an insecure person, and she should be, because she has no accomplishments.
Right.
And she sees herself as a woman running for a man's job. So what she's doing is she's saying and behaving like she thinks a man would, as opposed to just herself.
Right.
And she's not a man. She doesn't understand men. Okay. I mean, I can't go out and pretend to be a woman. So she's trying to pretend to be a man, and she's trying to act tough. Like, I'm a woman and I'm tough and I can take us to war. She sounds idiotic. Now, this thing about taking out their leaders, Soleimani was the general that Trump took out.
Right.
He was not the leader of Iran. He was a military leader who was in charge of their terrorist operations, okay? But he was not one of the leaders of the government. You taking out the leaders of a government is not always the right thing to do. And she wants to take out the infrastructure and the leaders of the government in Iran, Syria, and Jordan. What that would do
Oh my goodness.
is cause complete chaos. What would happen is if you did this
She doesn't know what she's doing.
No.
She's like Lindsey Graham. She
So-
just wants to bomb the whole world.
Yeah, so in all of these countries, it's the same. Okay, she wants to take out the leaders and the infrastructure of Iran, Syria, and Jordan. The infrastructure is the power plants, water treatment, and all this stuff. So you're going to leave all the people of the country without anything, and you take out their leaders. Well, what happened is, who's going to take their place? Some mad general that's running the Iranian army. I don't know, or madman who's running the Jordanian. I don't know, but that's chaotic. And the reason in wartime, there's a reason why you don't take out the leaders. Okay, I was talking about the bombing of Japan this morning on this morning's live stream on the radio. When we dropped the atomic bombs on Japan, we dropped them on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, not Tokyo. And the reason that is if you took out Tokyo, you take out the leaders. Who are you going to negotiate with and have a peace with? And those leaders need to be around so that when there's a peace agreement, they surrender, they cave, that they can help facilitate that. Because as the leaders, you don't take out the leaders. It causes total anarchy like we had in Iraq.
They didn't do that in World War II. I know do you think, now Hitler killed himself, but do you think if they caught him, they would have killed him? Or do you think the Russians
The Russians got there first. They would have killed him probably.
They would have killed him. But were there any other leaders that were targeted during World War II, like MacArthur, Churchill? They all lived through it.
There's all people that have been targeted. But when I mean leaders, I'm not talking about military leaders. She's talking about the government leaders.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In World War II or any other war, did they take out the leaders of those countries?
No.
Was that a strategy?
No, you don't take out the leaders.
Right, but this is a new strategy.
We took out a leader in Iraq, okay?
Yeah.
We got Saddam Hussein, and it caused complete anarchy and chaos. If you have a leader and you get them to agree to terms, they're in charge of people still, and they can help the people in the army and the military go along with it. In Iraq, we didn't have that with Saddam Hussein. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
I know we captured him, but we didn't. He wasn't in a. When a leader,
they hung him.
When the leader is not there to facilitate the peace agreement, you have an insurgency buildup that could last forever and ever and ever. So she's out of her mind. She's a very stupid woman.
Yeah.
And I think these guys that said they had extramarital affairs, that happened while her husband was deployed. At least one of them. I think she wants to keep her husband deployed so she can play around.
I don't know. She seems compromised.
She seems stupid. I mean,
I want to play this audio of E. Jean Carroll because we were talking about her, and this is
which
all
one is
over.
this?
Let me see. There's a whole bunch. So let me.
She's done a lot of interviews. I can't stand listening to her too much, Kathy. I must tell you. Are you got it queued up?
Yeah, listen
Okay.
to this. This was on Maddow.
About using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that might be? What that might look like?
Yes, Rachel. Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money. First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes, motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Penthouse? It's yours,
Nothing.
Rachel.
Oh
So
my
that's
goodness.
what she's going to do. She's going on a shopping spree, but her lawyers come in. Watch.
House and France? You want France? You want to go fishing in France? No? Oh. All right. Okay.
That's a joke. Take one for the team. All right, let me.
Her lawyer said that's a joke.
Yeah.
Does this woman act like a rape victim? She is
She's joking.
giddy.
Yeah.
She is so excited. When have you ever seen a real rape victim act like this?
Never.
Ever, ever. She is mocking. And I tell you, these people in the news literally have no shame. They should be disgusted with themselves because this woman is mocking every rape victim that ever walked on this earth. Any woman who's been victimized, treated badly by another person, especially man, she is mocking them
Mhm.
and getting rich off of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I have seen a lot of interviews with people that have been raped, and I have never seen anybody giggle and laugh and enjoy it so much.
Oh no.
She's a sick woman.
Yeah, she is.
And I think you're right. I think these networks are going to stop interviewing her very quickly, and her time will pass because she's too unpredictable, and she says stupid things, and she's laughing and excited. This is it's like she won the lottery. That's how she's acting. Of course, she doesn't have the money yet, but I am predicting that Trump is going to appeal this, which they are, and it is possible that not only will she not get that money, but she's like Stormy Daniels, she will have to pay him money for his attorney's fees.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Let her enjoy it now and laugh it up, because let me tell you.
Yeah, and not only has she not gotten paid, her lawyers haven't gotten paid either. So, and they are at some point.
Believe me, they were not happy. You should have seen the looks on their faces, and they probably told her she can't talk.
Yeah,
about that.
Now at this point, after this Rachel Maddow interview, which was just insane, is all over the place. They're working on her not to do any more interviews, and they may temporarily be able to control her, but they can't put her under house arrest. This woman, she's never seen a television camera she didn't want to be in front of.
She absolutely. I remember her. She was on a TV show a long time ago or somewhere, but I knew who she was.
Really? I never heard of her before.
Yeah, I knew who she was. I just cannot remember how I knew who she was, but I did know who she was. She's like a writer, but she's a nut and she's a kook. And I just think it's disgusting that she's going on TV and laughing about shopping when she's, telling everybody Trump raped her. Give me a break. And like I said, I've never seen a rape victim act like this.
No. Now, I want to tell everyone the free shipping offer with our promo code KANE, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com is still in effect. And remember, you get free shipping plus the deal on whatever product you buy. I just use this as an example, but this is true of all the specials at mypillow.com. Right now, the MyPillow 2.0 with temperature regulating technology is 50% off. With our promo code KANE, Kane, at checkout, but you get 50% off and free shipping site-wide, okay?
That's amazing. If you've been holding off on getting the mattress topper,
that's 40%
or anything,
off, and you get free shipping
that's
now.
Like heavier, linens are not light or anything like that. Free shipping, that'll save you a lot of money on those heavy items. That's right. For sure.
So it's site-wide, no matter how large, no matter how small.
That's amazing.
And remember, you get the special plus free shipping with our promo code KANE at checkout. And this is a special thank you that Mr. Mike Lindell is offering those of you who support my content for your great support of him after the cancellation by Fox News Channel of MyPillow advertising. After Mike Lindell paid them $5.5 million in December, they will no longer carry his ads.
Crazy.
As soon as the check cleared, they canceled his ads. And they make room for Nikki Haley to promote a war. They probably get more money for the war, they figure.
What a bunch of jerks.
Yeah. So go to mypillow.com, free shipping on all items, plus the special discount on top of that with our promo code KANE at checkout, Kane. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Have you tried to get in shape and failed? Or are you just tired of your workout routine? You're not alone. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the new book from author Jonathan Wright, Sculpting Strength, available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Author Jonathan Wright has over 25 years of experience in bodybuilding and nutrition. He shares the real truth about weight loss, muscle gain, supplements, and more. Whether you're a seasoned gym goer or a complete beginner, author Jonathan Wright will be your personal trainer and will guide you through the science of achieving your fitness dreams with Sculpting Strength. You'll learn about effective calorie intake, optimal eating habits, and the fastest way to gain muscle. Learn how simple science can make your goals achievable and debunk all those myths you've been told about fitness. Author Jonathan Wright has reached his goals, and now he's here to help you reach yours. Order your copy right now, Sculpting Strength, from author Jonathan Wright on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com, and get into the physical condition you've always dreamed of. Sculpting Strength from author Jonathan Wright on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Are you dealing with heartbreak and grief? You're not alone. You can live the life you've dreamed of, the life you deserve. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the book from author Bodie J. Lee. Our Human Hearts book series, Heartbreak, Healing, and Self-Care, a journey through grief. This must-read and life-changing book is your comprehensive roadmap for healing. It draws on psychological insights and gives practical, actionable strategies. You'll understand the intense emotions of heartbreak and embark on a journey through the stages of healing. You'll discover the importance of self-compassion and discover a range of effective strategies to nurture your well-being. From mindfulness exercises to new hobbies, this guide is filled with information that will aid you in your recovery. Explore the transformative power of heartbreak as the author guides you through self-reflection and growth, encouraging you to redefine your personal identity and your goals. Order your copy right now. Our Human Hearts book series, Heartbreak, Healing, and Self-Care, A Journey Through Grief, from author Bodhi J. Lee. Available on Amazon and at ourhumanhearts.com. This also is a great gift for the person in your life who's dealing with heartbreak and grief. Our Human Hearts book series, Heartbreak, Healing, and Self-Care, A Journey Through Grief, from author Bodhi J. Lee. On Amazon and ourhumanhearts.com. When you're shopping for unique designs and exceptional quality, there's only one place to shop, and that's FatherandDaughterLimited.com. FatherandDaughterLimited.com have a huge selection of clothing for adults, kids, and babies, featuring t-shirts, hoodies, and a lot more. Each piece is a canvas for creativity, and FatherandDaughterLimited.com have stylish phone cases too, and adorable cause plushies that are sure to capture your heart. Their story is unique as their products. Father and Daughter Limited is a startup born from a father's resilience and a daughter's ambition to chart her own path. Together, they've created a brand that's more than just a shopping destination. It's a journey of discovery and learning. They collaborate with independent artists and designers, showcasing their talent and bringing designs that truly stand out. Your satisfaction is their top priority, and they're dedicated to ensuring your experience is nothing short of exceptional. Do you have a special request? Do you want a design transferred into a different item? Just let them know, and they'll go above and beyond to personalize your experience. And if you're an artist or a designer who's looking to collaborate, FatherandDaughterLimited.com would love to feature your creations and support your talent in their catalog. Make sure to check back often too, because they're adding to the site every day. Start shopping right now at FatherandDaughterLimited.com and be a part of a community that celebrates artistry, individuality, and meaningful connections. FatherandDaughterLimited.com. Are you tired of ineffective probiotics? A breakthrough in probiotic science that's designed to revolutionize your digestive health is now available. ProBioform. ProBioform harnesses the power of living probiotics and natural lactic acid to fuel your digestion and build a robust microbiome. ProBioform's unique formula ensures that live bacterial cultures survive your stomach's harsh acidic environment and reach your intestinal tract effectively. ProBioform's advanced production process means these probiotics don't need billions of CFUs to be effective. With ProBioform, you'll experience the real benefits of active lactic acid bacteria. Forget about capsules or freeze-dried options. ProBioform is a game changer. With no capsules, it's not freeze-dried, and has a long-lasting shelf life after opening, making it convenient and reliable. Are you ready to transform your digestive health? Then order ProBioform online at probioform.com. You can also find them on Amazon. Just search ProBioform and join the countless others who are reaping the benefits of this innovative science. ProBioform, nature's answer to a healthier gut. Visit probioform.com today. Your journey to digestive wellness starts now. probioform.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. All right, we got, I tell you, Nikki Haley. You know what I don't know about Nikki Haley? This is what I don't understand. Has Nikki Haley realized she has no chance and is now just doing crazy things? Or is she completely delusional, okay, and thinks she's got a chance at getting this? I
think
don't know.
she is. I think she is saying what she's being told to say.
Well, that's true.
She's got a hand up her backside, and she's like Jim Henson with Kermit the Frog.
She's a puppet.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
She gave this interview to Hugh Hewitt, who's a big Trump hater. Okay, Hugh Hewitt. And let's just play the clip. It explains itself. I'll play the whole thing. The part right in the beginning, you don't want to miss that because we're going to go back to that. But I want to play the whole thing, and then we'll go back to the beginning. All right, here we go. This is Hugh Hewitt with Nikki Haley.
Well, first of all, I think that, there will be a woman president in America. it's either going to be me or it's going to be Kamala Harris. And I don't want a Kamala Harris for president. So the first thing we have to understand is Trump cannot beat Biden in an election. That's a fact. We know that. Look at Iowa. Look at New Hampshire. He doesn't win independents. No one can win a general election if you don't have independents. He doesn't win suburban women. He has lost the Republicans who don't like his style. Not only that, 75% of Americans say they don't want a rematch between Biden and Trump. The majority of Americans disapprove of Trump and disapprove of Biden. Both of these men put us trillions of dollars in debt that our kids are never going to forgive us for. And are we really going to say that our only choice is to have two guys in their 80s? We can do better than that. You look at all those general election polls, he does not beat Biden. You look at those same general election polls I'm in, I defeat Biden by up to 17 points.
Okay, I don't know what poll she's looking at because I went through all the polls at Real Clear Politics just yesterday, and Trump is winning every national poll against Biden.
And by the way, Trump's not in his 80s.
No, he's not.
He's 77, so I don't know why she's added 4 years to his life.
I guess at the end of his thing. Well, you know, she talks about – I want to go back to the beginning of this, but she talks about suburban women there in the middle.
Yeah.
What about senior citizens? You know, the older generation, which, by the way, are not over the hill with this attitude she has.
Yeah.
But this attitude she has towards older people, that's a very important part of the voting block in every single state. But what she said in the beginning, this is interesting. Listen.
Well, first of all, I think that, you know, there will be a woman president in America. It's either going to be me or it's going to be Kamala Harris.
Okay, and that's interesting. So is she
sounds so arrogant.
Isn't she? Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Now, is Nikki Haley saying that Kamala Harris is going to be the Democrat nominee? Is that what she's saying there?
Exactly. Or does she know something we don't know?
It sounds
saying that Joe Biden's not going to.
He's going to step down or something? I don't know what she's talking about, but she thinks it's going to be her versus Kamala Harris, and one of them are going to be the president. Isn't that something?
Maybe she is deluded.
She's totally insane.
Marjorie Taylor Greene said they are going to impeach Mayorkas today.
Today? I thought she said Thursday. Today's Tuesday.
Let's see.
Tuesday, she said, which is today. She said they're going to do it on
Marjorie
Thursday.
Taylor Greene.
I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Gaetz just tweeted something a second ago. So yeah, it's coming
Thursday.
Today or Thursday is coming.
This guy,
she's on it.
This guy should be arrested, Mayorkas. You know, Mayorkas, you know, because people look at Mayorkas, you know, he's the Homeland Secretary who's responsible for the border security and the security of the homeland. He's doing a terrible job. People keep asking these questions. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? He works for Obama.
That's exactly right.
His original appointment in the federal government was through Obama.
Obama is running the country.
Yes.
He is living in Washington. He is running the government. Joe Biden is letting him do it because he just wants the perks of being president. He doesn't give a damn, and as long as he gets his 10%, he's happy. But Obama is in charge, and this border thing. And he had said on an interview that his dream would be to run the country without being the official leader, so he could do all this stuff without taking all the heat.
Yeah,
he said that in an interview once.
Yeah,
and that's what's happening now. Is he's running everything. Biden's taking all the heat, and but he is letting in as many people as he possibly can, because he hates white Americans, basically.
Well, he hates the country.
He hates the country. He's trying to hurt the country.
What Obama is doing is what he was doing when he was in his first two terms, okay? And this is when Glenn Beck used to talk about the Cloward and Piven strategy of overwhelming the system so that it collapses and then we get what we want. And he is overwhelming the system. You know, Biden's running around talking about this border deal, and the fake news media activists that we were talking about in the first segment, they're saying, oh, Trump wants this deal to fail. Yeah, there's no deal to be made. Biden said today, I can close down the border if they'll just give me what I need. He has everything he needs.
He does.
And this deal that they're talking about, that this is what Biden is suggesting. When there's more than 4,000, it might be 5, it's either 4 or 5. When more than 4,000 or 5,000 come through in a day, then they can move in and do this and do that. There should be zero. Not only should there be zero coming in, it should be negative because they should have deportations.
Do you think he will actually close the border right before the election, like 6 months before, to like try to
No.
try to get people to vote for him. I could see
No.
him doing that.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because it's there's a couple reasons why. Okay, they're losing hardcore liberal votes. Bill Maher was saying earlier this week that Biden and the Democrats need to try to figure out why Hispanics are gravitating towards Trump, and it's because of the border issue.
I think it's obvious.
And they're losing black votes, Hispanic votes. They're losing votes out of every one of their core demographics that they take for granted.
It's the border. I told you it's a problem.
And
ever since Greg Abbott started sending these people to these other cities, which was a genius move.
Oh, yeah, it was.
That's when the tide turned. Because now people, as long as it was happening in Texas, people that weren't living there didn't care. But now that it's happening in New York, Los Angeles, Denver, all these major cities that are liberal, the tide is turning.
right.
In fact, I just retweeted at the football game the other night in Baltimore, where the Ravens got beat by the Chiefs, which was a good game, by the way. They interviewed a bunch of people outside of the game, and they put it together, a compilation.
Oh, let me pull it up. You got a montage?
I retweeted it to you, so if you could pull that up. Yeah,
I'll play it in just a second.
They interviewed a bunch of people in Baltimore, by the way, in Baltimore.
I'll play it in just a minute. I said a second, now I said a minute. I'll play it in a moment. Be vague. The thing about the border, not only is Biden not going to slow things down, the closer it gets to the election, the more people are going to come through because the Democrats, Obama and Biden and all these creeps around them know that Trump's coming back. And the closer it is to him coming back, the time frame they have to bring more illegals here gets smaller and smaller. Right. So they're going to bring in even more as we get closer to the election. And then during that president-elect period, when President Trump is going to be president-elect and president, because he's still president. That's what I wonder. When he's president-elect again, do you call President Trump Mr. President or Mr. President-elect? Because he's already been president. We're in a new world.
Mr. President 2.0.
Mr. President, President-elect.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Say it all and say it loud.
As many titles as you want to give him.
That's right. King, MAGA King, everything else. Great MAGA King. He loves that one too.
MAGA King.
I like that one myself, our MAGA King.
Yeah,
I'll bow down before Trump. But that president-elect period is when the border is really going to get bad because the clock will be tick-tack, tick-tack, tick-tack till Trump in January's second non-consecutive inauguration. All right, so this is this montage you retweeted. So this is a montage of
outside of the game of the playoff game of the Chiefs and the Ravens. The Chiefs won. They're going to the Super Bowl.
That's Taylor Swift's team.
Swift's team.
Oh my gosh.
But they were playing the Baltimore Ravens, who screwed up so much. These are people they interviewed these are Baltimore people outside of the game.
Of our commander-in-chief? Absolutely not. The gas prices are up the roof.
You see the state of the economy right now? Absolutely not a part of the commander-in-chief. Kamala's boyfriend?
How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know? The southern border reminds me of the Kansas City Chiefs O-line. It's wide open.
He is an and anybody in this country that elected him can go out.
If I were smart, I'd say thank you and leave.
Joe Biden's in his last quarter of his first term. If you were his coach, what would you tell him?
Joe Biden, it is time to hang up your cleats.
Try not to climb any stairs.
You got to know when to fold them. What is the term? Know when to hold it.
Know when to fold.
Oh, yeah, Kenny Rogers. Know when to walk away.
Great song.
And know when to run. I mean, yeah, it's really long. It goes on for like 5 minutes, so,
Brian retweeted that, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and that's where they're in trouble. That's Baltimore. Some of those are black voters from Baltimore. I mean,
that's a liberal city, the charm city, they call it.
These are people that were born with Democrat voter registrations and before they got a birth certificate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. That's how bad it is in the country.
And it's amazing to me how the left can collectively get together to bash Trump, but they can't get together to just fix the country.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
I don't understand.
It's nuts, Kathy.
I think it's because they're all on the take and they're all being paid to working for China. This is all about China weakening. There was a thing I saw, they had this financial expert on, and he said, very soon, America will not be the financial dominant country of the world.
Right.
The dollar will mean nothing. And China, that is what is happening. That is why they are doing all of this. They are all on the take with China, and they are doing whatever China tells them to do to weaken this country. So they are the dominant superpower. I told you guys this before. My cousin went to China like 10 years ago, and she went on a tour, and there was a tour guide, and she said she was standing on the Great Wall with this British tour guide with her whole group. And they were talking, and the tour guide said China's goal is to become the superpower of the world and to take down the United States.
Yep, that's right.
She said that is their goal, and she lives in China, this woman, and she's English. And she said that is all they're focused on, and they're playing the long game, and they're hitting them on all different fronts. And that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like the coldest of Cold Wars because most people don't even see it's happening. And the media won't report it.
No.
Because they're all being, like Joy Reid, they're reading the script.
That's
they're being told to say what they have to say, and they say it even if they don't believe it. You know what I mean? They're knowingly lying to people.
And I'll tell you what's going on with these Democrat squad people. Ilhan Omar's in big trouble for saying putting Somalia first. She's in that. And Cori Bush pays her husband government money
to be her security guard. Yeah, when she pays her husband, she's paying herself.
Exactly. So
I mean, we share a bank account.
Exactly. So this is a press conference. I'll just play a little bit of it.
In recent months, right-wing organizations have lodged baseless complaints against me, peddling notions that I have misused campaign funds to pay for personal security services. That simply is not true. I have complied with all applicable laws.
Okay, it goes on and on. I know they got her on this.
She said she paid her husband. She admitted it.
And, you know, I know that a lot of people say, well, they all do this in Washington. The sergeant of arms came looking for her. Okay, so this is a real thing. I don't buy that she did it. For a Democrat woman in Congress to get called out like this with an investigation, she's done this and some more. And what Kathy said's right. I mean, when you're paying your husband, you're paying yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. That's like Joe Biden when Hunter sells artwork. He sells that because he's the president's son. You don't think Joe Biden and them get a piece of that?
But see, here's the difference. If you look at these corrupt members of the government, right? Their kids and son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and brothers and sisters get all these jobs and get paid, but their spouses don't. Because
like Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi, you know, she gives insider stock tips to her husband,
right?
But he doesn't work for her. Okay, Hunter, you know, he's not. Joe Biden never did any of these jobs. Right. They don't have the spouses do it because the spouse's money is your money. So so
that's where she screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. Usually they have a kid, a son-in-law, a daughter-in-law, a brother, a sister,
somebody not
a cousin.
So close.
You can't have your spouse because the money's commingled. It's the same account.
And plus, this is government money.
Yeah, yes, campaign money. She's talking about. So that's the difference here. This is not what they all do. Now, others may have paid their spouses like this. Okay, like for example, AOC was paying her boyfriend something. Okay, but they weren't married at the time. Okay, I don't think they still are. Or maybe they never. I don't know, but not. She was paying him to do campaign work, but they weren't married. Okay, there's a difference when you have a spouse because all your money's together.
Right, it's commingled.
That's right. You know, like anytime I get money, I just give it to Kathy, and it goes into the bank account, and you know, that's how it is in most marriages. I think that you need to have one. I personally believe in a marriage, one person should handle the money and the bills.
It depends on how many marriages you've had.
If you're on the first one,
if you're on like your fourth or fifth,
that's different.
Then and you both have been married multiple times, maybe it's smart to keep your money separate. So you know what I mean. If you don't have the best track record, with marriage and stuff like that, but you know, Brian and I married 27 years, so
yeah. Our first and only marriage. No others will be coming. But
that's right.
But it has to be that way. So Cori Bush messed up by paying her husband. It's a big difference than what these others do. Okay.
Well, it's interesting that all these people that have been going after Trump.
Look at Fannie, how much trouble she's in.
Yeah,
Fannie's
all
in trouble.
All of a sudden,
I give you an example.
In trouble.
Kathy. Fannie Lewis. I keep wanting to call her Fannie. Fannie Willis. I don't know why I want to call her Fannie Lewis. Is there a Lewis that's got a connection? I keep wanting to call her Fannie Lewis.
I know Fannie Bryce.
I know her name's Fannie Willis, but I keep wanting to call her Fannie Lewis. But anyway, Fannie.
No, I don't know Fannie Lewis.
Fannie, the trouble she's in with the government money is not that she paid her boy toy so much money, he took her on very expensive first-class vacations with that money.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So even though they're not married, she benefited financially. There's direct connections to her benefiting financially from the use of the government money. You understand what I mean? So that's why, even though they're not married, she's in trouble, Fannie Willis. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. And remember, those of you that are Patreon supporters, there's exclusive content that only Patreon supporters have access to. It is on the Patreon page. One of those is commercial-free editions of our podcast episode, of course. But there's a lot of other content. Kathy and I both separately post things up there all the time.
Yeah, I put up a bunch of pictures. Emily's in town. I put up some pictures of our family and Emily, you and Emily with my mom.
Yeah.
For people to see our beautiful daughter, and she's in town till tomorrow. So that's been exciting.
Yeah, and I put we put up pictures, articles, things that we share nowhere else. We put on our Patreon page. Sometimes personal, sometimes news related. And Patreon supporters have exclusive access to that. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, and Constance. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this episode on whatever platform you are listening on. Now, don't go anywhere. We're going to take our last break. And when we come back, there is a lot more to talk about. My name is Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will be back right after this.
Are you a teenager who wants to unlock their full potential? You can. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the book from author Charles E. Tyler, 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life. Available on Amazon. This must-read and life-changing book is your guide to rocking the teenage years with confidence and clarity. It's filled with real-life, no-nonsense advice. You'll discover how to navigate the twists and turns of adolescence. Have you ever wondered how successful people make it look so easy? 10 Mindsets to Embrace reveals their secrets. You'll also find interactive exercises that can boost your emotional intelligence, find your zen, and supercharge your self-awareness, and discover the real you. Author Charles E. Tyler's 10 Mindsets to Embrace is a conversation, a guide, and your personal coach. It's perfect for teens who are ready to challenge the norms, make their mark, and become their best selves. And it makes a great gift for parents, teachers, and school counselors to share with their students. 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now and take that first step to the success and happiness that you've dreamed of. The new sci-fi novel from author Tony Travis is now available on Amazon. Keyholes. Keyholes is a journey of discovery. Meet Dr. Alan Messman and his brother Colonel Bryce Messman as they uncover a groundbreaking revelation, a mysterious portal influenced by quantum effects on photons. Join their team on a quest to unravel the secrets hidden behind the keyhole. What lies beyond? A passage to the past, an alternate world, or something beyond our wildest imaginations? Find out when you read Keyholes from author Tony Travis. Follow their journey as it challenges the very nature of reality, intertwining cosmic mysteries with a deep exploration of identity and existence. Every page is a gateway to another layer of mystery, leading to a climax that will leave you questioning the very fabric of our universe. Order your copy of Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. Planning a trip or vacation in the new year? Make sure your journey starts at Border to Border Travel. At Border to Border Travel, you'll discover the power of efficient packing with their compression packing cubes and underseat luggage. Border to Border Travel will have you traveling in style while optimizing space like you've never done before. Their compact cubes ingeniously compress your essentials, while their underseat luggage is designed for seamless, stress-free journeys. It's perfect for weekend getaways or business trips. With Border to Border Travel, you'll experience the convenience of organized, hassle-free travel. You get the perfect synergy of smart design and durability. Travel smarter, travel lighter, and travel with unmatched ease. Embrace your next adventure with Border to Border Travel, where innovation meets wanderlust. Online at bordertobordertravel.com. That's the number 2, bordertobordertravel.com. Your journey starts today. bordertobordertravel.com. Imagine a world where your lifespan isn't a mystery. Would it be a blessing? Would it be a curse? Would you want to know? From author M.D. Lima comes the book, The Knowing, Book 1, available on Amazon. This young adult novel takes you to a dystopian society divided into the known and the unknown and explores the profound impact of this knowledge on both society and the lives of individuals. The Knowing isn't just an ordinary book. It's a project that you, as readers, are invited to join. At the end of Book 1, you can influence the future books. Your ideas and thoughts could become part of Book 2, making you a co-creator of this unfolding adventure. And then at the end of Book 2, the entire process will be repeated for Book 3. Be a part of the creation and adventure of this unique interactive experience. A portion of proceeds from the book will be donated to the American Cancer Society. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. The Knowing from author M.D. Lima, where your journey becomes a part of the story. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So Mayorkas has responded to Marjorie Taylor Greene announcing he's going to get impeached this week. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas took aim at what he calls baseless and false allegations leveled against him by House Republicans ahead of a key vote on impeachment articles in the House Homeland Security Committee. And he wrote a letter, Mayorkas, right? Like the 1950s here. I assure you that your false accusations do not rattle me and do not divert me from the law enforcement and broader public service mission to which I have devoted most of my career and to which I remain devoted, Mayorkas said in a lengthy letter to the House Homeland Security Committee Chair Mark Green. The committee is meeting to advance 2 articles of impeachment against Mayorkas, accusing him of refusing to follow immigration law and of breaching public trust. A vote is expected later in the day. So you were right earlier, Kathy. It's today, not Thursday. I was wrong. And
happens often.
And they expect a party line vote. So if the Republicans stay firm, we've got a 1-seat majority now.
Oh, so we should,
definitely,
this is a time when you want to turn on the news and watch.
Well, after you're done listening to our podcast.
Exactly.
Don't turn on the news until you're done listening to the podcast.
Or take a break from the news.
No, but do not take a break from the podcast.
Right.
Finish the podcast.
Exactly.
Mayorkas, this guy, he's as loony as E. Jean Carroll. He's sick. He's like criminal in his mind. I mean, we've all seen the videos.
He just flat out lies to people.
Well, we've all seen the videos of more people coming to the southern border than have ever come at one time in history. The invasion every day is larger than Santa Anna's army that attacked the Alamo. I mean, we have more.
A good movie, by the way.
Yeah, not the one with Billy Bob Thornton, the John Wayne one.
Yeah, I've seen both. The Billy Bob one was pretty good too.
It's kind of dark.
But John Wayne, was he in the
John
one we
Wayne
saw?
was Davy Crockett in the original in 1960.
No, I saw a different one. I saw one with, I'll have to watch it again. They've made so many movies. The one we watched together, I can't remember who the main guy was now.
I could have swore we saw the John Wayne one together. I don't know. Well, the Alamo, listen.
Maybe. It's a great.
It is a great. The original one's very
sad
good.
moment, but a great movie, that's for sure.
Yeah, but more Mexicans are coming across the border every day than came and attacked the Alamo. And for Mayorkas to say it's baseless and I'm doing, give me a break.
Okay, so I've been confused about the primary schedule. So I got this from NBC News Online. It's saying the Nevada primary. I don't understand the Nevada. There's a primary and then a caucus.
Really?
It says the primary's February 6th and then a caucus.
I have no idea.
And it says in the caucus, Nikki Haley will not be on Nevada's caucus ballot.
Correct.
That's the 8th.
And Trump is like at 90%.
Yeah, okay, Nevada. So that's a done deal. February 24th is South Carolina.
Now, South Carolina is a crossover primary state, and that clip we played of this lunatic, Nikki Haley, earlier, she says he doesn't do well with independents. So,
I hope she gets her clock cleaned in South Carolina. This is letting you guys know the dates, and then Michigan the 27th, and March 2nd we got a bunch more.
That's the Super Tuesday.
March 5th is Super Tuesday.
Yeah,
that's when there's a ton.
So this thing about South Carolina, though, when you hear that interview where we played the clip of earlier with Nikki Haley, and she says he doesn't do well with independents. These are Republican primaries. Trump is not going after independents. She isn't either. She's getting Democrat votes that are registered independents. She's doing well among Democrats.
These people that are voting for her, I don't like this crossover BS.
I don't either.
Okay, and I think it's not good.
It defeats the purpose of the primary process.
I mean, I don't understand why Democrats have a right to, or that they can change their affiliation.
Republicans can do the same and vote in the Democrat primary, but they don't do it
that
too
shouldn't
often.
be allowed.
No.
But she's still not winning. They always interview people outside of these polling places that voted for her, and they all say they're not going to vote for her in the general election, that they're Democrats, they're voting for Biden. So I don't know where she pulls this out of her butt that she can beat Biden. I mean, you're right. It's either she's delusional or she knows she's not going to win, but she's just going out there telling people, sometimes. Like Ron DeSantis did this, when you're losing and you know you're losing, maybe she's into this manifestation nonsense. And maybe she thinks that if she says it enough, like I'm going to win, we're going to win.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
That's like the secret.
Yeah.
She'll manifest a win. It doesn't work that way. You don't control the universe. I don't believe in that manifestation nonsense. God is in control. Nobody else.
Agreed.
And you cannot manifest something. You can think positively, but then there comes a point where you have to live in reality and understand, okay, this is not the reality. I mean, you don't see Ron DeSantis out there saying we can win, we can still do. Of course, Jeb Bush did that for a while. So South Carolina, to me, is going to be the cutoff for her. And if she does not win that state, which she will not, I would imagine her donations and her donors are going to cut her loose, because that's a complete waste of money, of time, and they're going to realize she didn't win her own state. Trump's won the first 4 states because Nevada will be over by then. And there's no way that this woman is going to beat this guy. He's going to win it. Mm-hmm. So that's it. I think the money will dry up after South Carolina. If she stays in it after South Carolina, then she's just totally deluded and just can't walk away from the cameras.
It's very possible that she's going to get creamed in South Carolina, okay?
Oh, I think so.
But it's possible she stays in after with donor support, because the donors are the military donors and they're pushing for this war. And Nikki Haley wants to engage. She wants World War III.
Yeah, but does she have that much influence if people really aren't even voting for her?
I'll tell you what the reason that these military industrial donors may continue to back her campaign after she loses to President Trump in South Carolina, as a presidential candidate, she gets all these TV interviews on national TV where she's
well, yeah, for sure.
She's selling World War III with Iran like an idiot. So
how much did they interview Carly Fiorini, whatever her name is? Remember, she ran against Trump the first time. The woman that ran that company, she was on TV for months.
But after she drops out, the interviews will start to slow down. She'll do some in the beginning. It'll start to slow down. If she's still a presidential candidate, they'll use that to bring her on national television like Brian Kilmeade and get her foreign policy analysis of things.
You'll see her, I'm predicting, as a commentator on Fox, as a regular contributor on Fox News. I could see that. They seem to love her over there. And I could see her, to me, at this point, she's angling for a job
on
one of the network
I just
channels.
want to mention this thing about Vivek Ramaswamy and Taylor Swift. And, Richie the bus driver called on the air this morning about it, and I didn't want to go there. And I talked to him about it for a few minutes.
Stupid.
And it just cleared out my whole phone board. People didn't want to. So I'm only going to.
Nobody cares about Taylor.
So I just want to tell you, I want to say this for just a brief time, okay? Don't do what you did with her. I don't blame you. I didn't want to talk to Richie about it either. Certainly, But here's the thing, okay?
Nobody over 25 gives a damn about Taylor Swift.
No, but with Vivek Ramaswamy, I haven't changed my opinions about him at all, but he's very smart. He's the one that exposed Nikki Haley with the military-industrial complex and all that stuff. Vivek Ramaswamy said he predicts that the Super Bowl will be fixed so that the Chiefs can win to give Taylor Swift a platform to endorse and promote Biden's reelection. There are a lot of – I don't know enough about football to have an intelligent opinion on this, okay? But a lot of people do believe that professional football is fixed.
Well, my brother has told me that many times.
Your brother believes this.
He's a huge sports fan.
And a lot of people do.
I got to tell you, I have seen games. I watch football, and I know a lot about football. I have seen a lot of games where there were plays that were very suspicious. And like the game last week with the Ravens and the Chiefs, they had so many penalties, the Ravens. It was over the top, and they acted ridiculous. You got to wonder, is this done on purpose so the Chiefs can win? Because let me tell you something. Taylor Swift I'm not a fan of hers, but she has made so much money for the NFL, and their viewership is up like 40%.
That's right. Since
she started dating this guy. So they want the Chiefs. I'm not saying the Chiefs aren't a good team. They're a very good team. Patrick Mahomes is like the best quarterback. And her boyfriend got like 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's good. But it is good business for the NFL, for the Chiefs to win and to keep winning as long as they're together, because their viewership is skyrocketing. They're getting their audience back, and it has a lot to do with her. She goes to the games. They show her on camera. The last game, she went out on the field and they embraced. It was all over the news, and they hugged each other.
Well,
it's a big
I don't want
deal.
to, like I said, see what happens when you talk about Taylor. So, but the thing with Taylor, the thing with Vivek, though,
Just saying.
He very well could be opening up this dialogue about sports fixing. And if it is, I'd like it to be exposed. Now, there's another thing I want to mention. I don't mention.
Tell us if you guys think the NFL's fixed, because a lot of people think so.
Yeah. This is about, we don't talk about TV shows and movies too much, but there's one I want to recommend on Apple TV, this Masters of the Air, and it stars the guy that played Elvis in that Elvis
Austin
movie.
Butler. He's really good.
And what it's about is World War II B-17 pilots, and the first 2 episodes were up over the weekend, and I watched it. I almost didn't watch it because the previews are kind of cheesy, and the guy talks like Elvis, and I still see Elvis, but I watched it, and it's very good.
I knew you'd like it because it's a World War II thing.
Yeah, and it is. I've seen pretty much every major movie ever made about the Second World War, certainly about the bomber pilots. The bomber pilots are often neglected, and
absolutely.
Memphis
Belle's another good movie.
It's good, but this is better. One thing about living in Florida is everybody retires here. And Kathy's lived in Florida all her life. I've lived here since I'm a little kid. And since everybody retires here, you get to meet incredible people. I was at the doctor's office once, and there was the guy that was the vice president of NBC with Brandon Tartikoff sits next to me once. But
it's true.
There's a lot of World War II veterans here, not as many because there's not as many left. But they used to have a World War II bomber that used to come to the airport by our house.
Yeah, we went
year.
and saw it once.
Yeah, and they would have these World War II, not so much the pilots because they were older already and gone, but they would have like the bombardiers and the gunners. The guys are in these things.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And I had a conversation with one guy once, and he shared, and I was talking to him about it, and I learned something that I never learned. I did not know. I know when the bombers flew to the target that they were getting shot at the whole way. Right. And he was talking to me about it. And I was saying, I can't imagine what it's like being up in this thing when you're getting shot at all the way to the target. And he's like, and he was telling me about it.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, but when you're on the way back, it must have been a much smoother ride. He says, no, he says they shot at us all the way back too. And I said, I thought when you were flying in for the bombing run, since you're flying towards a target, they have guns there and they would fire at you on the way to the target.
Right.
But after the target, you would fly in a pattern away from any targets. He says they had guns everywhere. So he says there was no way he said they would fire at you all the way back to England. We were getting shot at all the way back until we got over the English Channel.
That's great. I never knew that either.
I thought they flew in a way where they didn't get shot at as much on the way back. And he says, no, he says it was just as bad. So he says you live through it and then you got to get back. But now this show.
I want to watch this show with you.
But I'll tell you about the show Masters of the Air. I've read a lot of books on this is the most realistic portrayal of the bombing runs that I've ever seen. And this is why it's important. young people today sit around and whine. People call me the wrong pronouns.
I know.
You know, you got these different groups that are talking about this and that.
Well, that's what China wants to do. They're ruining these young people. They're not tough.
Well,
they don't know what real life is all about. They live on TikTok.
I look at these guys that are, and by the way, Masters of the Air. You know, these are real people in this thing. It's kind of like Band of Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Spielberg and Tom Hanks are producing it, and it's very good. And the younger generation of today think that they're a hero because they're got some pronoun thing going on
because they mastered a TikTok dance.
These guys,
I think that makes them a hero.
It's so important to watch this show, Masters of the Air, and I'll tell you why. It broke some records when it debuted the other day.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Young people today have no appreciation of the sacrifice of this generation. These guys, even the pilots were in their 20s. These were young men, right?
Yeah.
These are guys that are the same age as these pronoun warriors, okay? And the sacrifice that these guys did, because a lot of them didn't make it back. There's no appreciation for that with the younger generation today. They don't even learn about it.
Well, they want to create young people, and I again believe liberals in China are behind this, that hate America. So
and they've been successful at it.
They don't have that feeling of patriotism that you had back in the 40s of defending the country. It was so patriotic. People had freedom gardens and all this stuff. And I want to bring up one thing, so you're talking about airplanes, but I do want to watch that show with you.
Yeah.
They think they found Amelia Earhart's plane. And this is a big deal to me because I've always been fascinated by Amelia Earhart and things like the Titanic and stuff like that. This guy sold his company. He's an ex-Navy guy. Sold his company and spent $11 million for the last year or so searching around that island where they think she was, that little island, remote island. And they use this special sonar. And this is what's incredible to me. And they have a picture of a plane 16,000 feet down below. I think that's deeper than the Titanic.
How far?
16,000 feet below the surface.
Yeah, the Titanic's like 2.5 miles, isn't it?
The Titanic's like,
so
I'm pretty
11,
sure it said
12,000?
60. I think it's 12,000 feet. I'm pretty sure it said 16,000 feet because I was reading the article to Emily.
Okay, that's pretty far.
And it's got, you see the sonar image. It's this special new equipment. And it has, you can see an outline of a small plane, and it's 100 miles off this island where they said she was, where they lost communication.
Well, they're going to find out they ran out of gas.
But what I don't understand is, how is this plane intact?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you saw the Titanic, which did not come from the air. The Titanic was on the water surface, and that cracked up. I mean, it hit an iceberg, but when it sunk, it broke up into two big pieces, and then it was scattered all over the place. Now, this is a smaller vessel, but if it's 16,000 feet below, and she came in from the air,
it's 16,000 feet.
Yeah, and it came from the air. How is the plane not broken up into a bunch of pieces?
Well, sunk slowly. Maybe they had a kind of like a controlled crash landing.
I think she landed on the water. This is what I was telling Emily. She was a very good pilot. I think she landed on that water.
Well, I don't know if she was, Kathy. She didn't make the trip.
Her navigator was a drunk.
Well, they don't know that. They don't know that that's why they didn't.
Well, what I'm saying is,
pilot error.
if the plane is intact, and I don't know how they're going to get, they're probably going to send cameras down next to take a look. Because I don't know how you can raise something. Water pressure is very heavy. I mean, it's like, tons and tons and tons of weight. So I don't know how they can lift it without ruining it, but they'll definitely send cameras down. But how did the plane not break apart? It's a small plane. So I'm thinking she somehow got it landed on the water and then it sunk slowly. And then they maybe tried to swim. It was 100 miles off the coast of the island.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to swim for it. You know what I'm thinking? That's what I'm thinking, that she somehow got it coasted and it didn't.
Well,
if it would have fallen from the sky, it would have broken up into a million pieces.
I have heard, because I used to follow this Amelia.
But it's an intact plane.
I used to follow this Amelia Earhart thing all the time, okay?
Yeah.
There have been so many things found and said that I'd have to see it to believe it.
You can see it online. They got the picture right there.
I've seen witnesses who said that her and the navigator were prisoners of the Japanese and they saw them in cells and They and there was a woman in the 70s who claimed to be Amelia Earhart. So
they actually have a picture of an image, a sonar picture.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it looks like a small plane. It does, intact. So what I'm hoping now is, I mean, this to me is
I just don't know why she's so revered, because she
was like the first female pilot to do this stuff.
What'd she do? She first female pilot to try to do something and fail. I mean,
I'm sure she did other things.
She was a pilot and she flew around, and I guess everybody was flying around breaking. I think Amelia Earhart's a little overrated.
I disagree. I
you know.
think there's so much mystery around her. I think this is as big a discovery, if not bigger, than the Titanic. That's how I think.
Oh my gosh, Kathy, that's crazy.
That's what I think. The Titanic, because the Titanic, they knew what happened. Okay, they knew it hit an iceberg. They knew it sunk immediately. There were people that survived that told their story, and they knew where it was roughly. People have not known for almost 100 years what happened to this woman. Yeah. And it's been a huge American mystery. And I am fascinated by this. So I really hope they send cameras down soon. And let me tell you, if they send cameras down and that's her plane,
we'll find
they'll
out.
know, because they'll know the type and it'll have the number on it. It'll be crazy to me to find. That'll be so cool.
Well, listen, we are out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.